The international terminal of Horizon Air's hub buzzed with the rhythm of travel, rolling suitcases, murmured conversations, and the occasional chime of boarding announcements. Amid the flurry, Amara Coleman, a 17-year-old black girl, stood out not for seeking attention, but for the quiet confidence she carried. Dressed in a sleek, modern outfit, black jeans, a fitted blazer, and sneakers, she clutched her first-class boarding pass, her fingers tracing the embossed text. Today was more than a flight, it was a celebration. Amara had just earned a full scholarship to a top U.S. university, a milestone marking years of hard work. This trip home was her first chance in 2 years to reunite with her father, Daniel Coleman, the owner of Horizon Air. Amara stepped into the first-class lounge, a haven of luxury with plush leather armchairs, soft jazz playing, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the tarmac. Passengers sipped artisanal coffee, scrolled on tablets, or chatted quietly. Settling into a corner seat, Amara placed her phone and a latte on the table, her boarding pass tucked beside them. She glanced at it again, not out of doubt, but excitement. The first-class seat wasn't a status symbol she flaunted. It was a privilege she'd earned a gift from her father to mark her achievement. Her phone pinged with the text from Daniel boarding soon. "Let me know when you're settled." Amara smiled, typing back, "Almost there. Will text from the plane. All good." Daniel wasn't just a doting father. He was a self-made billionaire who'd built Horizon Air from a regional carrier into a global leader. Yet his humility defined him. He treated everyone, janitors, pilots, executives, with equal respect, a value he'd instilled in Amara. Few knew she was his daughter. Daniel kept family matters private, and Amara preferred it that way. Across the lounge, 2 flight attendants stood near the service counter. The lead, Patricia Evans, a seasoned professional with sharp features and a tightly pinned bun, glanced at Amara. "First class is getting too open these days," she muttered to her colleague, her tone laced with disdain. Her coworker Lisa gave a nervous chuckle but stayed silent. Patricia's eyes lingered on Amara, her expression unreadable but judgmental. The boarding call echoed: Horizon Air Flight 412 to New York. First-class passengers may now board. Amara stood, adjusted her backpack, and joined the line, her boarding pass ready. At the gate, Patricia scanned boarding passes with a practiced smile. "Welcome aboard," she said warmly to a white businessman in a suit, then to a woman with a designer tote. "Enjoy your flight." When Amara stepped forward, Patricia's demeanor shifted. She scanned the pass, her eyes narrowing at the first-class designation. "This must be a mistake," Patricia said, her voice polite but firm. "Economy is down the aisle." She pointed toward the back of the plane. Amara blinked, caught off guard. "My pass says first class," she replied, holding it up. "Seat 3A. Patricia's smile tightened. "There's been an error. Please head to economy." Her tone carried a dismissive edge, as if Amara's presence in the line was an inconvenience. Amara's grip on her backpack tightened, but her voice stayed steady. "There's no error. This is my seat." She extended the pass again, expecting clarification. Passengers behind her shifted, some sighing impatiently. Patricia leaned closer, her voice low but sharp. "Look, I don't want to make a scene. Just go to economy so we can keep things moving." The words stung, but Amara held her ground. "I'm not causing a scene. I'm trying to board my assigned seat." Her calm defiance drew whispers from the line. A man muttered, "What's the holdup?" Another whispered, "She doesn't look like first class." Patricia's eyes flicked to the growing crowd, her annoyance clear. "Wait here," she said curtly, stepping away to consult a tablet. Amara stood, cheeks burning, feeling the weight of every stare. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. "Carry yourself with dignity no matter what." She straightened, refusing to let the humiliation show. Patricia returned, her tone sharper. "This seat's been reassigned. You'll need to move to economy." Amara's heart sank, but she held up her pass. "This is my ticket. How can it be reassigned?" Patricia crossed her arms. "If you don't comply, I'll call security." The threat hung heavy, drawing gasps from nearby passengers. Amara met her gaze, her voice firm. "I have a right to my seat." The standoff intensified, whispers spreading. A woman in line frowned, murmuring, "This isn't right." but others nodded at Patricia as if her authority was unquestionable. Amara felt isolated, but she wouldn't back down. Patricia, unwilling to relent, signaled for security. 2 officers boarded their presence, amplifying the tension. "Ma'am," one said to Amara, "we've been asked to escort you to another seat." Amara's chest tightened, but her composure held. "This is my assigned seat," she said, showing her boarding pass. "I've done nothing wrong." The officer glanced at Patricia, who nodded. "Her seat's in economy," she said, her voice dripping with certainty. Despite Amara's protests and valid ticket, the officers deferred to Patricia. "Please come with us," the second officer said. Amara gathered her backpack, her movements deliberate. The stares of passengers followed her down the aisle to economy, a mix of pity, indifference, and smug satisfaction. Patricia returned to first class, a triumphant smile on her face. "That's how you handle trouble," she said to Lisa, loud enough for others to hear. First class is for those who belong. In economy, Amara settled into a cramped seat, her boarding pass still clutched in her hand. The humiliation burned, but she refused to let it break her. She pulled out her phone, typing a message to her father. "Dad, they moved me to economy. The attendant said my seat was a mistake." Daniel's reply was instant. "Stay calm. I'm handling it. Let me know if it gets worse." Amara stared at the screen, her father's words a lifeline. She took a deep breath, her resolve strengthening. This wasn't over. As the plane cruised at 35,000 feet, Amara tried to focus on the clouds outside her window, but the sting of Patricia's judgment lingered. She pressed the call button, hoping for a glass of water. Minutes passed with no response, though attendants bustled through the aisle serving others. Finally, Patricia approached, her expression cold. "Yes," she asked, her tone sharp. "Could I have some water, please?" Amara said, her voice polite. Patricia's smile was thin, insincere. "Sure." She turned away, but no water arrived. Amara watched as Patricia served first-class passengers with warmth, chatting and offering extras. The deliberate neglect was clear. Amara pressed the call button again. This time, Patricia's return was slower, her annoyance evident. "Yes," she snapped. "I asked for water earlier," Amara said calmly. "Can I get it now?" "I'll get to it," Patricia said, her voice dripping with indifference. She vanished to first class, leaving Amara waiting. The slight wasn't lost on nearby passengers, some of whom exchanged uneasy glances. Amara typed another message to her father. "The attendant's ignoring me now. It's getting worse." Daniel's reply was swift. "Stay put. I'm making calls. This ends now." In first class, Patricia boasted to Lisa. She thought she could just claim a seat, she said loud enough for passengers to hear. "You have to maintain standards." Her colleagues shifted uncomfortably, sensing the unprofessionalism. A passenger, an elderly black woman who'd seen the initial confrontation, approached Amara in economy. "I saw what happened," she whispered. "That wasn't right. You're handling it with grace." Amara managed a small smile. "Thank you. I'll be okay." Mid-flight, the cockpit's secure line rang. Captain Thomas Reed, a veteran pilot, answered, his expression neutral. The voice on the other end was Daniel Coleman, Horizon Air's owner. His tone was calm but authoritative, his instructions clear. Reed's face tightened as he listened, nodding. "Understood, sir," he said, hanging up. Reed activated the intercom, summoning Patricia. She was mid-conversation in first class, her smugness evident. "Miss Evans," Reed said, his tone firm, "we need to talk." Patricia's confidence wavered. "Of course," she said, following him to a private area. "What's this about?" "I received a call from Daniel Coleman." Reed began, pausing to let the name sink in. Patricia's eyes widened. "The airline's owner. He's been informed about an incident with his daughter Amara on this flight." Patricia's face paled. "His daughter," she whispered, the realization crashing over her. "Yes," Reed said. "Mr. Coleman will meet the plane on landing. He expects a full explanation. For now, you're to treat Amara with the utmost respect." Patricia stammered, "I didn't know she was—" "That's irrelevant," Reed cut in. "Your actions were unacceptable. Fix this or face the consequences." He returned to the cockpit, leaving Patricia shaken. Patricia's bravado vanished. Her hands trembled as she grabbed a tray, heading to Amara's economy seat. "Miss Coleman," she said, her voice unnaturally soft. "Can I get you anything?" "Water." A snack. Amara looked up, her expression neutral. No, thank you, she said, her tone polite but distant. Patricia persisted, offering blanket snacks, even a first-class meal. Each time, Amara declined her responses, calm but firm. Passengers noticed whispering about the sudden change. She's never this attentive, one murmured. Finally, Patricia crouched beside Amara, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry for earlier. It was a misunderstanding. Can we move past this? Amara studied her, unshaken. This isn't up to me anymore, she said. My father's handling it. The words hit Patricia like a blow. She retreated, her facade crumbling. As the plane touched down, passengers gathered their belongings, but many noticed activity outside. A black SUV pulled up and Daniel Coleman stepped out, flanked by 2 executives. His presence was commanding, his tailored suit and purposeful stride signaling authority. Inside, Daniel boarded, his eyes finding Amara in economy. He approached, crouching to her level. Are you okay? He asked, his voice warm. I'm fine now, Amara said, a flicker of relief in her eyes. It was rough. It's over, Daniel said, squeezing her shoulder. You're safe now. He stood, his expression hardening as he faced Patricia, who stood frozen at the cabin's front. Miss Evans, he said, his voice calm but piercing, you humiliated my daughter based on assumptions. That's not just a personal failure. It's a betrayal of this airline's values. Patricia's lips quivered. I didn't know she was your daughter, sir, she stammered. That's not the point, Daniel said. You judged her without cause, as you likely have others. This airline stands for respect. You've failed that standard. Passengers applauded, their approval echoing. Patricia's head hung low, her hands shaking. Daniel turned to his executives. Miss Evans is removed from duty effective immediately. Her actions have no place here. An executive gestured to Patricia. Please come with us. She followed, her career in tatters as passengers whispered about the justice served. Daniel returned to Amara, his presence grounding. You handled this with strength, he said. I'm proud of you. Amara smiled faintly. Thanks, Dad. It wasn't easy. As they disembarked, passengers cast admiring glances at Amara, some offering nods of respect. The incident sparked immediate action. Daniel ordered a comprehensive review of staff training implementing mandatory diversity and inclusion workshops. These weren't token sessions. They included real-world scenarios, bias reflection, and guest speakers sharing discrimination's impact. Patricia faced termination. Initially defiant, she later sent a heartfelt apology to Horizon Air, acknowledging her prejudice and committing to change. After review, Daniel offered her a probationary return under strict oversight. Patricia embraced the training, becoming an advocate for equitable service, her transformation a testament to accountability. At a press conference weeks later, Daniel addressed the media. Respect isn't optional. It's our foundation, he said. No one should feel unworthy because of their appearance. The story went viral with hashtags like #FlyWithRespect trending. Passengers shared their own experiences, sparking broader conversations about fairness. Amara reflected on the ordeal, realizing it had strengthened her. Her father's support and the airline's response showed her the power of standing up. She carried the lesson forward, determined to advocate for justice in her own way. Months later, Amara and Daniel boarded another Horizon Air flight, seated together in first class. The crew was professional, their service warm and equitable. An attendant offered Amara a drink with a genuine smile, and she returned it, glancing at her father. The change was palpable not just in the crew, but in Amara's newfound confidence. She leaned back, a quiet satisfaction settling in. The fight for fairness wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Horizon Air soared not just as an airline, but as a symbol of respect for all.